It seems like the hot button topic in YouTube land lately is if you should do sponsored reviews of items or not. So this channel has never done a sponsored review before. And when I say sponsored review, I mean I've never been paid to say anything about a specific item. And in fact, I've never been paid to review any items. But I do receive a lot of stuff that is sent to me for free to check out. But the biggest con to this issue is sometimes there can be a little bit of a pressure that you might upset a brand, or if you point out the flaws in it, they might just get mad at you and then cut off the relationship or stop sending you stuff. The other thing that's really frustrating to me about working with brands is I've just had issues where a video doesn't get as many views as they would like, and then all of a sudden they don't want to send you anything, even though you went into all the details, you showed all the pros and cons of an item. So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about that topic of if a YouTuber can even be trusted or not whenever they're sent stuff for free. So I like to disclose at the beginning of a video if something has been sent to me for free or not, and if anything ever is sponsored, I will definitely be sure to say that a company sponsored this video and they paid for me to do it, and it's going to be more of an overview than a review. So to me, a review means it's based on someone's experiences using the item in the real world, testing things out, looking for any shortcomings with it. An overview means that you work with the company and they give you the talking points on it, and you're basically just reading off the script, not sharing any real world use of the item as well, which I don't have any problem with overviews as long as they're disclosed as a company sponsored overview. And also on YouTube, there's a little check mark that you do whenever you're uploading in. You mark that you receive compensation for something or you receive something for free, which I think YouTube is a little confusing with that because it's just a check mark. So there's no further detail about if they paid you or not, or if you just received the item for free. Another big con to if you do receive items for free, sometimes you're just forced into using items that companies want to send you versus items that you're actually genuinely passionate about. So right now we're using the Elgato Wave Mic DX, which is a really cool microphone, but I haven't had any use for it recently. I've been mostly using my SE Electronics Dynacaster microphone for these podcasts, but I just realized the other day I still needed to do a video with this microphone. It's been sitting around for a little bit. So I got it out and I started testing it. I've done a couple little audio tests with it, but I'm not super passionate about this mic because it's just your basic $100 microphone. Nothing wrong with it. I think it sounds pretty good, especially for the price on it. We're just recording straight into the Lumix S52X camera right now. But the problem with this mic is whenever I make a video about it, it doesn't necessarily feel like something that I'm super excited to be talking about because I haven't used the mic quite as much. So it'll probably be more of a sound test review and what I think of it for the price, which so far what I think of it for the price is it stacks up well with any other $100 microphone that I've been able to test recently. There's some other computer hardware that I'm really interested in checking out. I really want to work with Synology at some point, do some stuff with their NAS systems. I also just picked up the LG Dual Up screen, a Mac Studio display, a Mac Mini as well. So those are some items that I'm more interested in, but I had to go buy with my own money. So those are going to come from a completely unbiased point of view because there is no middleman, there's no marketing manager that you're working with. So also another thing that I do really appreciate about when I get stuff sent to me for free is it gives me an opportunity to check out more variations of the same product that I might not otherwise be able to buy all of them with my own money. So if I have different companies who are sending me SSDs to review, I can't actually buy every single SSD out there. I've tried to get as many of the popular ones as possible so I can test them and just be able to give good recommendations to people. But if I could have every company send me the SSD so I've literally tested all of them, use them all on a regular basis, that would just help me even more with being able to make good recommendations. So it's the same thing with a microphone review too. The more microphones you use, the more you kind of get a feel for what sounds good with your voice and what might be good for other users as well. So that's a really big perk to having a YouTuber that you trust who does get a lot of stuff sent to them for free, is it lets them have time to test all the different items so that they can give a very fair assessment of all the different options that are out there. Another thing that can be kind of weird, I've received several proposals where the company wants to preview the video before it goes on to my YouTube channel, and they're also asking me to review the item, and they're not paying anything. So it's not an overview. They want it to be presented as a review, but I don't think that's super fair if the company can dictate the final outcome of the product, unless it's very clear that you're being paid specifically to talk about this microphone and the features it has. Another thing that I don't really like about YouTube at this time, and if you've watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I don't get overly hyped up about anything because I'm not going to go out and push on you that this is the best microphone in the world. This is completely going to change your audio quality for your live streams or for your voiceover recordings. I just don't think that's a fair representation of any product, really, unless it was just the most mind-blowingly awesome product ever that somehow was really going to drastically increase your workflow or efficiency. So for me, it just works a little bit better not to be over the top about stuff and just to build stuff exactly how I see it. So all the pros and all the cons. And then at the end of most of my videos, you'll also notice I typically rarely say you have to buy this item. This is the power bank for you. This is the microphone for you. This is the SSD. I just throw out the specs, talk about the warranty, talk about the value that I see in it, and I want to let the user decide if it is worth spending their money on or not. Because when you're a YouTuber, when you make video reviews, you definitely are put into a more privileged status where you're able to receive items for free, and you just wonder if you review one item, if a brand will maybe notice you and then want to send you more stuff later on. So I'm not going to say that's not there. That's definitely there. But I never want to be the kind of person that's just telling you, you have to buy this, you have to buy that. This is absolutely worth spending your money on. So that's one of the reasons I really like getting comments from people where you ask a specific question with your specific setup, because then we're able to think about it a little bit more together. And there's a little bit more context to decide if this is actually going to be a good option for you or not. So I do think that there's some appropriate fear and tension right now with all the stuff that YouTubers are being sent. And if you can trust anything that's got the check mark that says this item was sent to me for free, I would say always be listening for a couple gripes with the item. Make sure that any review has a gripe on it, because if it has no gripes and it's pretty much perfect, then it sounds like they were bought off to me in one way or another. Another thing that you can look at is how long someone's worked with a specific company. If they've ever badmouthed a product from a company before, then you can trust them a little bit more too, because that means that they're holding a brand accountable for the quality of their product. Because let's just face it, in today's day and age, stuff's expensive, and there's so many different components to building out your smart home setup, building out your battle station, or if you're in the video production like me, we all know there's so many different accessories out there that you might need to be buying in order to make things happen. So I want to make sure that anything I do recommend wholeheartedly, I'm absolutely putting my seal of approval on, and I'm also fully disclosing all the pros and cons of it. So I'm definitely thinking about putting together an ethics statement for the channel, just something to follow along with, and all of my subscribers can know that that's what Adam Talks Tech is about, and we always follow these rules whenever we're reviewing anything or receiving it from a company. I haven't quite got there yet, but if you have any thoughts or input on that, I would really appreciate your thoughts and advice on those matters, as well as just some of the general red flags that you might find when you're watching a review on YouTube and you feel like maybe someone was bought to be saying something and it's not clearly being disclosed that it's actually an ad. One product I really appreciated recently is the new Amaran Ace light that they just came out with. And I know Gerald Undone did a little overview of it. And I thought he was just super transparent at the beginning of the video, where he basically said, hey, I work with Amaran all the time, so this is not going to be an objective review. This is just me telling you the features of this item. And I thought it was really nice that he disclosed it that way. So I'm not sure if that's something I've thought about putting at the beginning of videos as well. If I say something was sent to me for free, maybe going into a little bit more detail at the beginning of the video as far as how my approach to the item is going to be or not. But if you have any thoughts about that, I'd also love to hear that too. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you have any other thoughts about this topic, feel free to leave a comment. I really appreciate your perspective. Also, another thing, we just launched channel memberships where we are going to be having some exclusive live streams, member emojis, and some other perks that we're working on as well. I've also got some giveaways coming up in the future as soon as we hit 10,000 subscribers. So if you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any upcoming content.